Hi-ho! Kermit the Frog here, your amazing green announcer. This is the Beavis Show! Yay! Starring Beavis and Melvin and Larry. Let the adventure begin.
This week I got a special episode. I'm wanting to dedicate it in memory of my brother Charlie P. He was killed in a mountaineering accident on May 31st, 1986, when he and I were climbing a peak called Mount Reynolds in Glacier Park, and I literally watched him fall 1,000 feet to his death, and then found his broken body an hour later. It was horrific, absolutely awful, absolutely. I mean, stuff you read about in Reader's Digest, but it doesn't happen to you. It turns out it happened to him, and it happened to me. But I've survived it, and I've used it as a tool for healing and for good purposes, and passing that experience on to others that have been in the middle of similar situations. And so I hope that touches some of you today, for sure. So, and I went back and I reclimbed the peak about a year and a half later in the fall. I had to go back as a healing process of reclimbing it. And I was scheduled to meet a guy, a buddy of mine from college at Moose's Saloon in Kalispell. And I met the guy up there, and he bailed on me that Friday night, which I was really bummed about. Introduced me to his friend of his that just moved up here from Boulder, Colorado, and he's a climber. And my buddy said, Paul's a great guy. He's a climber too, and he hasn't been to the park yet, and I'm sure he'd love to go. So, I talked to him for a bit, and he seemed like a decent guy, and he was interested in going. So we drove up to the park the next day, and I told him the whole story, and he was floored. He's like, dude, if you don't want to do anything, I get it. And I said, well, let's register to climb and see what happens. And so we registered to climb, and every step I took on that climb, I wanted to go 3 higher. And this guy and I, we summited that day. I had an amazing reunion with my brother. It was very spiritually changing and uplifting and healing. The guy that I met, his first name was Paul, and climbed the peak with. His first name was Paul, and that's my brother's middle name. My brother, Charlie P., Charles Paul, is also who my son is named after. So shout out to him, and shout out to my daughter, as always. But the guy that climbed the peak with me, his first name was Paul, and so I thought that was kind of crazy. His last name was Clements. At the top of Logan Pass, as you face the mountains, Mount Reynolds is right here, and Mount Clements sits right beside it. Crazy. So pretty sure I was supposed to climb it with Paul. Then later that fall, he's driving through Bozeman, where I was going to school at MSU, and he was going to Boulder to pick up some of his stuff. He stopped at my dorm room to say hi. Noticed my brother's guitar sitting in the corner of my dorm room, and my brother taught me to play when I was 16. And he goes, oh, cool, I didn't know you played. And he picks up his guitar and he starts cranking out this incredibly beautiful music that Chuck and I refer to as Windham Hill music. Windham Hill is a record label by Will Ackerman, but real similar music, not necessarily a genre, but that's how my brother and I refer to it. And I thought my brother would be so impressed. These amazing tunes are coming out of his guitar. And I said that out loud to Paul, and he said, oh, it's easy, man, you just do X, Y, and Z and ABC and make it up as you go. So I wrote what I called the song for Chuck, and I want to share that with you today. The song is a reflection on all the emotional upheavals that I was going through as I reclaimed the peak. So I hope you enjoy it. Peace and love.